Rachel Buer with Raven Properties. I want to talk to you about asset management and how important it is. If you are into multifamily real estate investing, learning because you want to be a GP on deals, or if you just want to be an investor, asset management is the thing that's going to make or break your deal. I mean, everything leading up to purchasing the property is super important. You know, the underwriting, the acquisition, all of that is really important, and knowing your market. But once you own that property, the asset management is what's going to make sure that you stick to your business plan. Make sure that your investors are being looked out for. That make sure they make money. It's also going to make sure that the residents that live on the property are going to have a great place to live and a safe place to live. So a lot of people are counting on you. This is how you earn the trust of your investors to invest with you in the future. And this is how you make money for you and all of the other owners and all the investors. So I wanted to talk about the Yin Yang Asset Management Masterclass. It's a 12-week class with Cindy Harding and Andrew Suarez. Cindy is the asset manager. She is an asset manager on many properties. And she's also, before that, did accounting for many years. So she teaches this in such a systematic, streamlined, professional way. She basically tracks everything, collects a lot of data, but she's also just kind of guiding the team, holding everybody accountable, but doing it in a really professional, kind way. And Andrew Suarez is going to teach you about leadership. How do you, instead of being someone that barks orders and tells people what to do, how do you bring out the best in people, make them want to do their best at the best job that they can, to be good employees and to go above and beyond what is just required of them for their job. I have learned so much from the both of them. I loved their class. It's a 12-week course. It goes by really quickly. Just a little bit more about the course. You can sign up you can go onto their website, yinyangassetmanagement.com. The 12-week masterclass starts next week, and they have two options. They have a Wednesday at 6 p.m. and a Thursday at 3 p.m. option, so that you can pick the one that works best for your schedule. And I believe that's Pacific time. After the class, there are quarterly alumni meetups where we get to say hey. We get to tell each other what we're up to now. We get to kind of follow each other's journeys and stories with the multifamily real estate investing and asset management as well. So I think that the class is not something you just take and learn. It keeps going. You don't lose touch with Cindy and Andrew. You can have them in your lives as much as you want to, and they will answer questions. And if you're an asset manager on a property, you can even bring that to class and they'll ask you about it and give you advice on things that you might have questions on or not know what to do about, help you problem solve. Some of the things you'll learn in the class are about your roles and responsibilities as an asset manager, how to track KPIs, how to create trackers for the CapEx projects, make sure they're in budget and happening when they're supposed to. Unit trackers, so you're going to be keeping track of when do new appliances go in, when does new flooring go in, that type of thing. You're also going to be monitoring things like renewals and delinquencies, evictions, what units are vacant and when will they be ready to be leased, new leases coming in, collections, occupancy. There's just so much. I can't possibly talk about it all, but you can watch different recordings that Cindy and Andrew have done that talk about the class if you want to learn more about what you will learn there. But I highly recommend it. asset management is at the heart of a deal, and it's so important to learn no matter what part of the team that you are, but you definitely want a trained asset manager on every part, on every team for every deal. I can't say enough about that. I feel very passionately that you want to be able to trust your team. You want to make sure they're going to be able to live up to what they talked about, what they laid out when you first heard about the deal. Um, you want to make sure that they're going to hit those goals, and I think part of that is just making sure you have people that care. So for the class, Cindy and Andrew care. They care about asset management and these properties. They care about you and you're learning and you're doing your best. You're being a professional, but also they care about the investors and that they are that you're earning their trust, that they can count on you to make sure that the property is going to make money, and also they care about the residents. Are the residents feeling like this is a safe community that they can live in? All those things are really important. I took a lot of notes, so I'm not going to say all of them. I'm going to try to stay on track here. So that was a bit about what you'll learn in the class. It's a bit like drinking from a fire hose sometimes, but don't worry. Just soak in what you can. You don't ever lose that information. They're going to share everything that they've taught you with you, and I mean there's recordings and everything. You can always go back and watch and learn again, and you can always come back and ask questions or set up a meeting with them. You can also, on Mondays, they have Day in the Life of an Asset Manager at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And that's just a great way to hear something new or to say hey, even perhaps ask some questions. Okay, so I want to tell you what I'm up to now. I really wanted to be a part of an asset management team. When Cindy is the asset manager on a property, she organizes a team from the GPs, LPs, whoever wants to learn more about asset management. So I was lucky enough to be a member of an asset management team on a property that Cindy is the asset manager for, and so I'm also an investor, so it's so fun. I get to watch everything in action live. See, I mean, every week I get to see what's changed. So, I mean, I'm really staying on the pulse of this project. And my role is as a note taker for the weekly property management meetings. And I also help with getting together the information that goes into the monthly newsletters that go out to our investors, telling them, giving them some highlights of things that have happened with the property, what's going on. Eventually, it'll also include KPIs, letting them know, the numbers that people want to know for their investments. What is being, what, well, what things are being, what goals have been met yet, and are we staying on track, and what's going on with that business plan. So I want to tell you a little bit about my experience with working on the property. First, I think that one of the most important things is the team. So I highly respect and trust this sponsor. She really cares about this deal. She has so many great ideas, and she's so respectful of the property management team that are out there, doing that day-to-day, all the work on that property, making things happen. And she's always trying to figure out ways to save people time and energy, save money, to be most efficient, but also do the best we can to make a really great community that's safe and thriving, and for the residents who live there, but also for the property management, that their lives are good, and that they are enjoying their jobs and getting everything they need. And this property I'm working on also has an amazing underwriter. So and he works hand in hand with the sponsor, and they are always like tracking the numbers. If something changes for the projections that were made in the underwriting, they go back and work through that. They make sure everything's staying on budget. There's a plan that's been laid out. There's been like this 3-year plan of what's going to happen, and I'm watching stuff happen that could, some of those goals could be met in 6 months to a year. It is phenomenal. The other thing that's really cool is Cindy Harding hand selected the property management team that is working on this property. She already knew them. They are property management. They're the same property management for other properties in the area. I try not to get distracted, but one really cool thing about that is they have these other properties that are already fully functional and going strong. They sometimes they get people interested in moving there, but they don't have any vacancies. They don't have anything coming up. So there's going to be a lot of 2-bedroom, 1-baths coming up on our property. So then they can refer them back to this property, and so we get lots of happy customers, which is really cool. And that didn't really require much marketing to be able to just be like, oh, but I happen to know of another place that's coming up, and you might want to take a tour over there. So these property managers are super professional, really good at their jobs. They know, they're familiar with the local market, the area, the rules and requirements, the court. So every place you go has different requirements when it comes to like the eviction process. Like one place might have a 3-day notice that you have to give. This place has a 30-day notice. So you have to give a 30-day notice to vacate before you can file for eviction in court. And so they are very timely about those things. Someone's late for paying, they had already given them that notice, and then they work with them. Can they get them back on track? And if so, then they don't need to do anything. But if not, if they don't follow through on their promise to pay or the payment plan, then they're already set to be able to go to court and file for eviction in 30 days. And so not wasting any time with that. So what's been really great about this property management team is that they really care. They're so conscientious, as well as the rest of the owners, the GP team. Everyone cares so much, and we all have the same goal, which is for this property to be successful, to have a successful business plan, to make the investors money, to make the owners money, and to make a really great place for the residents to live and for them to feel like they're part of a community. So I've got to watch the transition of ownership and management of this property. Some of the things that happen like right away is like cleaning up garbage, cleaning up the landscaping that might have gotten out of hand, and then just the huge endeavor of working through the problem tenants. So the tenants that are, I don't know, creating property damage, harassing the other tenants, that are dealing drugs or using drugs on the property, the tenants that are unsafe in some way or are creating a problem. For example, not cleaning up after themselves, having like leaving food out for a long time and creating and attracting cockroaches or other pests. Which then, you're in a building with lots of other units. So it's not isolated to becoming a problem for them. It can affect the whole property. So things like that. And then ultimately, people who actually pay their rent. You want people in there that are responsible. And then when you have these good residents, then they can attract more good residents, like bring your friends. So then it can be a community that they really feel a part of and want to be in and want to stay, especially as we slowly, create a nicer place to live and bring the rents up to closer to market rents. And also upgrade units from or either just we're keeping some classic, but we're also upgrading some to premium units, and then charging more a premium rate for those premium units. So It's really cool to see how the property, it goes from this distressed property where everybody is just super upset. I mean, a long list of work orders of things that people needed fixed or repaired in their units, possibly don't have AC where it's super hot or whatever it is. And then watching as the property management and our team make sure that those things are happening and make sure that those things are getting taken care of. Um, we have a great maintenance staff on this property. They've completed more than 40 work orders. They're caught up now from what we got when we first transitioned into the ownership of the property. So let me look at my notes again real quick. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, finding good contractors, super important. So you want to make sure that not only are you getting a good price, but you trust their work, and then monitoring, making sure that who they said was going to work on it are working on it. Sometimes contractors subcontract, and sometimes when they subcontract, they're not even paying attention to whether something's getting done or not. Maybe they have a whole lot on their plate. So you just want to trust but verify, as Cindy would say. Make sure that people are doing what they say they're doing. That you because it's not only about having good work, it's also about deadlines, because we're trying to turn over these units, get them upgraded, get them or just repaired or whatever needs to happen for them to be a classic or a premium, whichever is the state of that unit or the what's been decided for that unit, and get them leased out. Because as soon as you have, we need heads in beds, right? So once you have somebody in that unit paying whatever the current rent rate that has been decided by the team, by the property management, but based on what the market allows in that area, you're making more money. You're increasing your income, and you're tracking all of the expenditures, making sure we're staying in budget. Where can we save money and adjust that budget? Okay, so another thing that's been really cool is community events. So they have these pay and play things. So once a month, when rent is due, they'll do something. So the first month was around July. And so they did these bomb pops. They're red, white, and blue popsicles for the 4th of July theme. And so when people came and paid their rent, they got a bomb pop. And they were really excited about that. It was fun, and it gives people incentive to be like, oh, they really care about us. We're not just a number, giving them our money every month. They actually care about us. The property management learns everybody's names, gets to know them. It's just really sweet. They're now seeing, as they've gotten the first or second round of evictions done, they are seeing people walking around the community, happier, feeling safe to, come out. It was not the best place when they were living there with the previous ownership. So the second month they did a payday and play. So they got a little payday candy bar. This next month they're going to do, it's one of the property manager's birthday, and they're going to do a party and pay. It's always something that starts with the P. So they'll get a little mini cupcake. And I mean, less than $50 has been spent on these community events. And I've definitely noticed an increase in economic occupancy. So the economic occupancy is like who's paying the rent, and the physical occupancy is who's living there. And it's starting to come into line. It's kind of into balance. It's getting to be a closer to equal percentage, which is ideal, is to have tenants that pay rent, and that enjoy living in that community and can attract other people who would have that pride of wanting to live there and being a part of that community and appreciating the management. Just really great management. There's so many things I could talk about. I don't want to take too long, but one of the things that we're working on is finding someone in law enforcement to live on the property. So this law enforcement person would get a discount on their rent, and in exchange, they're going to be like the first responder, the first person when dispatch gets a call about some disturbance on the property. They're going to go check it out. They're going to make rounds each night, walk the property, just check, make sure nothing's been broken into, that everything's peaceful. They're going to park their a police vehicle on the property so it's visible, and which is a nice discouragement to drug dealers and whatnot, because you just want a safe place to live. And of course, they're going to be excited to have a discount on their rent, and they're going to want to, since they're going to be a resident as well, they're going to want to feel safe and happy to live there too. And it's just really great to have them as a member of your team, so to speak. What else do I want to tell you about? The property that we're working on, there's something going on outside. It's annoying me now. The other thing I want to mention is this is a mixed use property. So we have all the traditional tenants paying their leases monthly, but we also have HUD housing. So some people are on HUD, which means HUD pays a good portion of the rent each month, and the tenant, the resident, pays a portion of the rent. It's based on I believe on their net income. It's like 30% of their net income or something like that. It might be different for different places. And they do inspections, so they make sure that the unit is got it's got the water is functional, hot water, electrical is good. They have heat and air, all the basic things that you're supposed to have when you rent a unit. And if it passes inspection, then they pay. If it doesn't pass inspection, then you have a reinspection date, and they can, if you don't pass, they can abate the rent, which means they don't pay. There was some rent that had not been paid yet because of the change in ownership. I don't think it was because of inspections, but it could have been. And so then getting that flowing again, getting all those accounts on track, and getting all that money in, it was really exciting to see that happen. See the units passing inspection, to see how they work with property management. And like, you had a tenant that said that they had these things broken, and the management wasn't fixing it, and it turns out that they're not letting management inside because they know if it doesn't pass inspection that they can potentially live there without having to pay, because they don't have to pay their portion if they didn't pass inspection and the abatement happens. There's also a process for getting approval for new rent rates, and that's been exciting. For this property, the HUD's already approved the new rent rates, and then there's times where they're finding the person another place to live because of a medical issue or something. It's been really fun to see the interaction with that, and how that's it's definitely a learning curve, and how the property management is getting that dialed in. The other thing that's happening are property improvement projects for aesthetics, like put new signage out with the new ownership, exterior painting, cleaning up the landscaping, and then adding amenities for the residents, like a dog park, and a community area where there's picnic tables and grills for having barbecues or whatnot, and other things like that have been really fun to watch. Resurfacing the parking lot, and there's also things that the lender requires, and making sure those get done on time. And then marketing. Eventually, there's going to be like a connection with travel nurses or a local military base that can make sure that we're listed as potential housing, as a place for people to live. Getting out on social media, creating a beautiful brochure. And then once once these aesthetic things on the outside, like exterior painting done, and we have units ready to go, then having an open house for people, and what they're gonna even just like put in the goodie bags. They're have this plan for a home sweet home theme where they get cookies and they put them in the goodie bag along with other things. Of course, they'll have the business card on there and whatnot. So I guess the most important thing I just want to reiterate is you want to work with a team that cares and it's in it for the long haul. I mean, it's all great fun and everything to be in acquisitions and understand the market and but once you get that place, you need to make sure you have a team that's not going to just be like, oh well, that was fun. Now moving on to my next acquisition, um, because the only way this project is going to work out, and it is your responsibility to make sure you follow through and that the investors get what they were promised. Plus, you're building that trust for your next investment opportunity. I already told you about the quarterly alumni meetups, and that the fact that Cindy and Andrew don't just stop being in your life because the class ends. So I guess I'll just reiterate the master class starts next week. It's a 12-week class. You have the choice between Wednesdays at 6 and Thursdays at 3. I think that's Pacific time. And if you want to sign up, go to yinyangassetmanagement.com and they have a store there and you can pick your day that you want to sign up for. There is a sale going on right now, I saw, and tell them I sent you, please. I'd love for them to know that you're there signing up because of me. All right. Well, it was great doing this with all of you. Good luck on your deals, and I will post a Calendly link. So if you want to set up a meeting with me to talk more about my journey with multifamily real estate, my obvious passion about asset management, go into any more detail with anything, or just to even talk about the class and how great it is. I could go on and on about that. Yeah, I love Andrew and Cindy, as Andrew would say, in the most professional way possible. The class is just amazing. It is definitely worth the time, and it goes really fast, so it doesn't feel like it's a huge time commitment. And you don't lose the stuff you've learned. You still have those spreadsheets. You still have their guidance if you want it. All right, everybody, take care. See you next time.